I'll start off by saying Terra Nil is much heavier on philosophy than outright education. If you want to learn new facts and figures, this might not be the right game for it. What it is very good at is instilling ideas and concepts directly through gameplay. One of the later levels has you dredging up Earth from the ocean floor to relocate it to the surface. It's a slow process, but soon enough I start getting enough land to start my restoration process. I wonder what that bar is. Toxic scrubber here, irrigator there. I need more land. A little bit more land. What was that? What was that? Oh. Oh, frack. So the lesson here is simple. Careless terraforming, even if done for a good reason, can still result in disaster if not done carefully. In order to fix the mess you made, you put down some devices to clean up the radiation. Here is a fact I learned from Terra Nil. Did you know that sunflowers can be used to absorb radiation? It's a process called phytoremediation. Sunflowers have been used to safely absorb the radiation from water and soil from the Chernobyl nuclear disaster site. This is in part thanks to their rapid growth and large biomass, allowing them to isolate contamination in its body as it continues to grow. However, what Terra Nil doesn't show you is that these sunflowers are usually destroyed after they've absorbed the harmful radiation. This is to avoid animals eating them and becoming contaminated themselves. Speaking of animals, another concept that Terra Nil demonstrates particularly well is managing animals in an ecosystem. I did not get footage of this, so please accept this artistic recreation. Okay, so there's this tortoise named Bluebell who needs more sand to lay her eggs. No problem. I set up my structure that produces sand. Now I have some beautiful sand for Bluebell. But no, now Bluebell doesn't have enough grass. What will she eat? Okay, so undo that. Let's think. I guess I could put the structure over here, but it'll reduce this part of the forest into sand. Oh, but Bluebell loves it. She's so happy now. Except, now every single parrot that lived in that forest is without a home. But Bluebell's happy. Well, sometimes you need to compromise for your neighbors, Bluebell. There's some sand right there. You can use it. I don't know why you need a whole beach. The world doesn't revolve around you, Bluebell. Anyway, it taught me that the maintenance of an ecosystem is an extremely precise process. Any wrong step could completely collapse an ecosystem. And we don't have an undo button in real life. It makes me think of those eco-anarchists that might mean well but end up doing ridiculous things like buying pets from a pet store just to free them in their backyard. If the animal doesn't die instantly, there's a good chance they become an invasive species themselves. Ferrets are illegal in California for this very reason. There's one last thing I'll discuss, and that's the look of Terra Nil itself. You may have noticed the aesthetic of a lot of these structures and buildings looks pretty industrial, sometimes even conflicting with the cozy nature vibe of the environment. Apparently this wasn't always the case. In the game's art book, one of the developers discusses how originally, the game structures were much more whimsical looking, having a bit of a steampunk vibe. It took inspiration from Studio Ghibli and looked way friendlier. The art team were discussing whether or not to keep this more simple style or something more futuristic when they read a review from Miguel de Dios that effectively settled the debate. It's clear that the damage we have dealt to the environment can only be undone with the same strength we use to build entire societies from scratch. To restore our plundered Earth, we must employ industries, not individuals. This is the last lesson that Terra Nil has taught me. If we want to restore the Earth, we cannot rely on tote bags and reusable straws. There must be seismic, systematic change that uses our brightest of minds and our sharpest of tools to restore what we've destroyed.